Good afternoon. This is Michael Matthews. Um, I'm on the phone right now waiting for Albany, right? Because I want to file a complaint against the Department of Social Service. Well, let me tell you people something right now, okay? I'm obviously I'm a genius because right now, according to uh, the controller, DiNapoli, New York State has a budget gap of $34 billion. Now, the question is, where did the money go? I'm going to help you out because this is ultra secret. Nassau County is the culprit. How do I know? Well, I've been in arbitration with Nassau County for 3 years. They owe me tremendous amount of funds. Now, here's the math. Nassau County owed me $288 a month for the past 3 years, okay? And we haven't had the arbitration. I've been fighting them. So, because they know that they lied on the last hearing, let me explain it to you. The $288 falls under what they call safety net. That's a grant, okay? It's a shelter allowance. Now, that shelter allowance, regardless of what my income is, right? Additional income that I receive, my pension and retirement, that 288 comes to you no matter what because that 288 can help. There's also a provision in the law for the 288 to help you move. For example, let's say you lost your job, your house caught on fire, anything. You're on DSS, you're getting retirement money. They give you a shelter allowance, $288 a month. It depends on how many household members. Me, I'm single. Now, that money can be used to help me move. Now, nobody's gonna find a place in a week, a month, or 2 months. It may take 4 or 5 months to find a nice place in a nice area. Meanwhile, if you're in a shelter, DSS has to pay that rent to the shelter. So if you move into a house and you find a viable place to live, okay, DSS, and if the landlord accepts the payment from DSS, then they will pay your shelter allowance, and even in a private home. If you rent a home or whatever it is, I would like to get a flat, a one-level home. So let's say the rent is $2,000 a month. DSS has to pay that. Now let's say I've oh yes sir.
All right, Michael. I got your new hearing scheduled for the 10th.
Oh, can I say one thing? I don't fault you, and I apologize if you're caught in the middle of this. You're just doing your job, and I'm very sorry. I humbly apologize to you because you're walking into a maelstrom, and it's not your fault. I'm a victim, and you know you have to remain neutral because you can't take no sides. You're not a judge. You're just responding to a call, and I humbly apologize to you, sir.
I appreciate those words. And I completely understand where you're coming from. It's a very frustrating and dire situation that you can be in with the housing issue. So I don't fault you for getting
Right.
a little emotional and heated and
Yeah,
just wanting to get what
yeah,
you want.
and I want the record because I know that your performance is based on these calls, and of course you have supervisors that this is how they merit you. So upward mobility, so to see what kind of job you're doing, and I want the record reflect. I do not find any fault with you personally, sir. And please, I ask whoever listens to this to forgive me for being a little bit upset. I'm an older guy. It's not your fault. My emotions caught up with me, and now I'm calmed down. And when you were paused on the thing, I said, "Hey, this is not this guy's fault." I said I shouldn't come to him with all that stuff. That's for later on. So please, sir, and whoever supervisors review these calls, please do not misinterpret it. This man did not do anything wrong. It's me. And be honest with you, sir, you handled it perfectly. Hey, listen, you were cool. Hey, listen, hey, listen, like when you go home tonight, right? And you got a pillow. Well, you're cool like the cool side of the pillow. I mean, you were cool under pressure, and that right there is meritorious. Congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Well, I did get you the earliest date I could get you. So it's gonna be on Friday the 10th.
Of this month.
Yeah, like this week.
Okay. What you got a time yet?
Yep. So technically 2:30. But while it's 2:30, you know, you want to be ready starting at 1, just in case the judge happens to get to you a little
I'm gonna
early.
be ready at 9. I'm gonna be ready at 9 a.m. Let the record reflect. there would be no miscommunications here today, and I appreciate you. And just for
All right, and
yeah,
I just want to really quickly 516-430-8693.
right. And the other thing is too, sir, aid to continue.
Yeah, so I couldn't put it on this. But what I want to do really quickly is to go over this issue that some people do have with the judge getting through to them, because it seems like this has been popping up here and there with calls from the judge that they're not going through. Do you know about call blockers, like spam blockers?
My phone. Let me tell you what happened, sir. The other day, day before yesterday, someone destroyed my phone. So what I had to do was, one of my neighbors had an extra phone, and I had to because I'm heavy into computers and stuff like that. I had to factory reset this phone you're on right now. I had to factory reset it, put my SIM card in, and put in a new Google account because I couldn't access the other account. So this number is here. I called you. You guys called me back. And matter of fact, when the prompt asked me would I like a call back, I said yes. So it's in the system.
Okay, good. The only thing with that is that while our callback seems to be going through, it's not a guarantee that the judge is going to use the same sort of like calling location to get through to you.
That's okay.
I just want to make sure
I'll make sure I take off anything deal with
anything like that.
Spam
I don't want you to have to go through this again.
Right.
You know, hopefully you can get through to the judge and you can finally have a little bit of resolution on this.
Yeah. And the other thing, sir, is that just for your information, I'm glad you said that. Real quickly, and I know this had nothing to do with it, but this is a fun fact. New York State has a $34 billion deficit. Okay, now $288, which owed me, if you multiply that times 100,000 people, that comes to 34. Over a 10-year period, that comes to $34 billion. That's just a footnote. And guess what? Okay, so I think I know why I'm going through this, because they're trying to listen. Those are federal funds are guaranteed, and anything that's a grant cannot be paid back. That shelter allowance is a grant, and it's on the safety net, you know. But I'm not going to digress. Maybe you don't know about it, but I think you should, because you may be having other people. This what they're doing right now is on the level of fraud, waste, and abuse, because $34 billion, you have to explain to the federal government, where does $34 billion go? That's a lot of money. That's a lot. See, that's how it works. So now they got to explain, if you got a budget gap, that means that $34 billion cannot be accounted for. So I just gave you the numbers. 288, which is a shelter allowance, New York State, for a single person. You multiply that times 100,000 people, that comes to $34 billion. Whoa, over a 10-year period. Okay, let's go. I'm on my job, sir. Hey, listen. I'm a college graduate. I have a lot of interest in the law. I study the law religiously, for my own personification. And I'm telling you, New York State, the judges know that the New York State Senate has it on the bill that New York State is moving away from charging home. It doesn't. Matter of fact, California and Massachusetts already ruled on it, that they're not going to charge homeless people rent. Even if you get a retirement stipend or whatever, obviously it's temporary. Because here's the thing. If I move, say like I get to 288, I don't have to spend that money. I can use that to move. That's what the law says. So realistically, it may take 5 months to find a nice place. You find a nice place, you use that 288 that you've been saving up for your moving expenses. And even if you move into a private house a single level house, colonial house, and the rent is $2,000 a month, DSS can still pay it. So you understand what I'm saying? Somebody's messing around with the numbers and they're getting in a lot of trouble. Because, I got a civil rights attorney, I have a civil rights attorney named Mr. Fred Brewington. He's accepted. I'm suing the Long Island Railroad, the MTA, Department of Social Service, and New York State for $1 trillion. I swear. Yes, me. I'm a rabbi. I was a rabbi. I was coming home from a religious festival in Manhattan back in May, and I'm on this Long Island Railroad. When I got ready to exit the train, about eight in Jamaica, eight police officers accosted me. I'm in my full religious garb. I got the shema. I got everything. I got the shawl. I got everything. And I look like a rabbi, and I am one. So they said that 2 witnesses on the train at 3 o'clock in the morning said that I had a gun. I was threatening people with a gun on the train. They gave me I got arrested. I was humiliated. Man, listen, you don't know what I went through. They were very aggressive with me. And I went to court in Queens Criminal Court. The court case got dismissed on September 18th, my last day to go into court. And the month before, they offered me an ACOD. I rejected it. I said, we're going to trial. When I went to court on September 18th, all charges were dismissed. Now, I want you to understand something, sir. I'm a man of color. Now, I'm getting off the train, and a bunch of police officers grabbed me, asking me about a gun and searching me. I don't even know what they're talking about. And then come to find out later that 2 people said that I was making statements that I had a gun. I was threatening people with a gun. They said I was threatening people with a gun on the train, and I didn't even know it. Can you imagine I could have lost my life that night? Because they would kill a man of color. They killed the guy selling Lucy's. Yeah, the guy. They still so yeah. If you on my Facebook page, I posted it. I'm suing the Long Island Railroad, who the president is Mr. Rob Free, the MTA. I'm suing the 8 officers. I'm suing the conductor. I'm suing the 2 witnesses, and I'm suing the Department of Social Service and New York State because I believe that all my troubles, I've been harassed. I've been robbed in my room. I'm in a shelter. I've been robbed. I've been abused. They've contaminated my food. I make complaints. It's mentally stressing. I got medical records to prove it. And I believe all of this comes from the Department of Social Service because DSS has victimized me because here's the thing. When we go to the next thing, you'll see that the issue that they want to close my case for has not been resolved in the first issue. For example, if you're arrested for, say, shoplifting, right, and it hasn't been litigated, they can't charge you again for the same crime. That's what they're doing. And then they're evicting me for this. They're victimizing me. And no judge, criminal, or this land, because now they're going to take me, according to you, they're going to take me to eviction court. Well, I'm taking all my documents, and I'm throwing everything back at DSS. That DSS is also part of a civil lawsuit for $1 trillion. I lied to you not. My name is Michael Matthews. It's on Facebook. It's going viral. It's going viral.
Okay. So Michael, you said you have something else that you needed to
address? Yes. Just 1 second. Let me put on my eyeglasses because my vision is getting a little... there's one other thing, because I haven't, and matter of fact, I haven't received a notice on the adjournment of this thing. And on this hearing, I gave DSS the benefit of the doubt. I'm supposed to have it's number, hearing number 8909-363Z.
A letter at the end?
Z is in zebra. And the thing I noticed too, sir, is that it doesn't matter if the local office is not directed to continue assisting unchanged or directed. It means the same thing. It's just wordplay. If you're not directed to change any, if you're not directed to continue assisting unchanged, it's no different than saying the office is directed not to. Whether you put the not in before or after the word is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, the assistance can't be changed. You cannot change the assistance, okay? You cannot change the assistance if a person is in a shelter and is dealing with their rent. How can you not direct it? They have to. See, that's why when you look this up, you'll see. It says amount of client contribution toward cost of emerging housing. So the second hearing that I'm having is unlawful, it's unconstitutional, and it's a violation of New York State. It's a violation of any law, criminal, civil, appellate, administrative.
Oh, you're waiting for this to be rescheduled.
Yeah. See, do you now look at the issue? So they want to close my case for an issue that hasn't been decided, which has been on the books for 3 years. That's victimization, sir. And they're not and that proves to me that they're stealing and they're hiding. Okay, because they owe this man $6,000. They don't want to pay it. Well, like you said, if it goes back to August and it was rescheduled, it should have had aid to continue. You're only talking about an interruption in a day or two. And not only that, if you look at the rescheduling, it's a day or two in the other issue. So it has to go with aid to continue because the issue hasn't really been resolved. And there was a reason why the case was adjourned. Now, the other thing is, too, if I'm in default, Albany issued no order, no notice, no judge issued an order to me telling me that my case is defaulted. And that right there, it means that somebody is trying to cover for the Department of Social Service Long Island because they're doing, listen, I'm one person. Can you imagine can you imagine people that have been on DSS for the past 10 years now coming back, arguing this same issue that they paid all that money and that New York State is moving? The Senate bill S3787 proves it. It's on the books right now, on the Senate floor right now as we speak, that New York State is moving away from this policy because it's unethical and it doesn't provide equal protection under the law and it's unfair policy. How can you make a homeless person pay rent even if he get a couple of dollars because of the income limit is low. Nassau County's income limit is lower than the federal. So how can I be over the federal budget if I'm under the state budget? See?
Oh, got it. Okay, so Michael, I do have to get to my next series of calls, and I know you calling about this, but it's the only thing I can tell you is it just hasn't been rescheduled yet.
Okay, great.
I had more info to give you.
Okay, great. No, that's your. Hey, listen, sir. You don't have. Your word is suffice. But I'm gonna put a name on the record. Ms. Simcoe handles housing at the Department of Social Service in Nassau County. I also checked the law. I can have her arrested. You know why? Because my paperwork, all this right here, you can have a social worker arrested. The law says it if they're stealing or if they're trying to manipulate funds or they're victimizing you with harassment. This is pure harassment. I've called her, left messages. She refused to call. I want to settle the thing outright. They owe me over $12,000. And not only that, you have to add cost of living. Now, what's going to happen when this gets publicized or this goes viral, that now you're going to have a whole bunch of people, whether they're on DSS or not, going to the courts because fraud. Let me tell you something before you hang up, sir. There's only two types of charges in the world where if you committed a crime 10 years ago, they can come and get you. One is murder, and the other one is fraud. There's no statute of limitation on fraud, and this is fraud. They mess with the wrong guy. They mess with a rabbi. They mess with a rabbi, sir. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. God bless you. You're going to have a successful day. And you're going to get promoted. And you're going to get promoted. And you're going to get promoted on this call because you handled it right.
All right, Michael. You have a good rest of your day, all right?
You too. I wish you success, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Now, Ms. Simcoe, I threw Ms. Simcoe under the bus. Ms. Simcoe is under the bus right now. I'm going live. We're going live. We're still broadcasting. You see, ladies and gentlemen, everything that you heard, right, is tremendous and all that. But now, I'm going to do the numbers again. I was talking with AI Gemini about this, and I went into the internet and I saw the controller, DiNapoli, post that New York State is in a 34 point something billion dollar, but budget gap. Well, that means they can't account for $34 billion. That's a lot of money. So this is what. So now you don't lose $34 billion in a year. That money is protracted. Now I'm show you where it came from. New York State shelter allowance is $288 for a single person. You multiply that times 100,000 people in 10 years, it comes to $34 billion. That's where the budget is. And they mess with the wrong guy. I told them to stop messing with me. I am a Grandmaster Freemason of the highest orders of York and Scottish Rites in North America. I am a 33 and a third degree Grandmaster Freemason. If you don't believe me, you can ask the Chief Judge of Nassau County, Teresa Corrigan. She would tell you. She calls me Mr. 33 and the third because I still owe her a cup of coffee, okay? And I respect the Chief Judge, all right? Now, I also want you to know I'm supporting Donnelly for re-election. As a matter of fact, I think that she's doing such a great job. I believe that she should be supported for being the next governor of New York, and I'm pushing for that. This is Michael Matthews. My attorney name is Mr. Fred Brewington. I am suing the Long Island Railroad, the MTA, 8 officers, 2 witnesses, and a conductor, and Department of Social Service, and New York State. And the lawsuit is based on the train tracks, because here's the thing. The train tracks, I can take the train from Long Island and connect to another train and go to Iowa, go to California. Well, you know what? Yeah, the Long Island Railroad, I'm suing them, but I'm suing the tracks. And you know what that falls under, ladies and gentlemen? Maritime. Because we are in a state of martial law. And that's going to come to the table too. That's why Donald Trump came to Long Island. Now, when his first term, he came to Long Island and he went to, I forgot where he stayed at, but they went after the Spanish people and that was dead wrong, okay? He went after the allegedly these guys were MS-13 and they were blamed for things that they didn't do. It was totally wrong. Then they went to Roosevelt, right? They found a woman's body in Roosevelt and blamed MS-13 or whatever. They didn't do it, okay? And that's factual. Right? Now, why would Donald Trump spend one day at the damn Ryder Cup and with no public announcement? You want to know why? Because they're tired of the shenanigans of Long Island and Suffolk County. Okay? They're tired of their shenanigans. Did you know that the sheriff of Suffolk County was indicted? They're tired of it. That's why I'm going for Donnelly. Donnelly's going to get to the head of this. Mark my words. And I'm going to send in one other thing. For some of you who don't know, I'm General Michael Matthews, the Jericho Command. Okay, this is my district, Room 18, this is my district. I've been here for 3 years. I've been announcing it on all social media. I've called Fort Garrison in Brooklyn, okay, military base. I screamed on the commanding officer for not letting me know that they did a NATO raid out here one time. I'm not going to get into the details, okay? The phone call is recorded, the same phone number. And now, if I'm not a general in the United States military, and I'm posting this all over social media, and I'm challenging anyone to prove that I'm not, then no one has done it. And I have not, and because I've used that, I have not harmed anyone. If you go, I'm going to upload my papers. Well, in 1982, Ronald Reagan was the president. And being the president of the United States at that time, there was a lot of skirmishes all around the world. Panama, Nicaragua, the Sandinistas, the Iran-Contra affair. All this stuff was going on. So Ronald Reagan got on, said, listen, I need young men between the age of 18 to sign up for selective service for the draft. I signed up for the draft in 1982. I didn't even tell my mother. Now, fast forward to 2024. Well, something told me to go on the internet and try to find my draft status. So I went to Selective Service website. Do you know all I gave them was my social security number and they uploaded that information and that put everyone that's on Selective Service at risk? I'll tell you why. Because there was the first time I accessed it in the computer. It's the first time that I even attempted to access it in over 40 years. Now, if you look at the paperwork, I have 5 bars. Well, I'm inactive, but because of the threat And the night that I became ipso facto general was the first night that the drones came out because I was kidnapped from my residence by a murder for hire police squad. Okay, it's all on social media. Murder for hire. And that night, I told them to, you know what I told them to call? I told them to call the U.S. I told them to call Bruce Barquette. I told them to call the U.S. military liaison. I told them to call the district attorney, who was Madeline Singers, and I also told them to call the chief judge, Teresa Corrigan, and they didn't do it, but it's all public record. They're not getting away with this, yo. You're messing with the wrong guy. Listen, I'm an imam, I'm a rabbi, and I'm a minister. By the gift of God's grace granted to me in the corporate exercise of power. Assuming that you've heard of Christ, as the truth is in him, you must put off your old self and former way of life and be renewed in your mind and righteousness in God's way and in truth. Now, how can I prove that I'm a rabbi, I'm an imam, and I'm a minister? Well, my prison records will verify that. Local jail records will verify that. Because anybody that was in prison with me or jail with me knows that I was the main guy. And a footnote, the Suffolk County Correctional Facility had an incident. I can't remember the individual's name. I think it was Floyd Wright. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. Well, a young man was choked out at Riverhead. I was there. It was in the early 90s. I was there. And I was the imam at that prison in Suffolk County. And so at that time, you have to understand, I'm just going to throw some names out there. All right? You had the Latin Kings. You had the Yetas. You had the Bloods, the Crips, the Trey H. You had the Arians, you had the Gnostics, you had, man, there was so many different types of individuals repping certain things, right? All right? But here's the thing, and me, I'm the imam. So it was a huge, close-knit jail, and everybody got along. There was never a war or a fight between the Bloods or the Crips, the Latin Kings, the Yetas, the Trey H. There was never a gang fight when I was there. You know why? Because I was the imam, okay? It's in the records. Ponticello was the head of security. Amityville bushwhacked me, and I had to take a plea to a 1.5 to 3. So he came to me. So the guy died, and so Ponticello came to me, called me down to security. He said to me, we need a favor. I said, well, what are you talking about? He said, look, we got word that they're going to tear this jail apart, brick by brick, every inmate. I said, well, what do you want me to do about it? He said, we want you to talk to them. We want you to tell them to calm down and wait for the preliminary findings from the ME and the investigation of by the district attorney's office, so forth and so on. I said, well, I'll do that on one condition. He said, what? I said, I'll do that if I can have conjugal visits with a young woman that I was in love with at the time. And they gave me conjugal visits. And they delayed me being shipped upstate for 3 months. Within those 3 months, here's the findings of that case, and it's public knowledge. Well, yes, the police did use, the correctional officer did use aggressive tactics. However, this is what happened from the ME's finding. And I know this from personal experience. The guy vomited. But the vomit was, he vomited not because of the choke. He vomited because if he expired, and I'll tell you how. He had a bad heart. So he had a heart attack. His body was already dead. So when you die, your body will purge. So if you're laying in your bed and you pass away, your bowels are going to empty and your bladder is going to empty out. And if there's any other external pressure on your abdomen or your diaphragm, it's going to expel anything in your stomach. So the corrections officer did not kill him, even though their tactics were wrong. You cannot be charged with murder. You cannot be charged with murder if the body's already dead. The ME determined that the guy had a bad heart, the other medical issues, and he expired in their grip. And because his body was going through rigor mortis or purging, they thought that he was resisting. The guy was already dead. And this is in public records. I don't lie. I'm Michael Matthews. And at that time, I was called Abdul Malik Ali, and I was the head imam at the Riverhead County Jail. Check your records. I don't lie. And when I'm telling DSS, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. I go after people who violate the law in terms of what you're supposed to do. Charging homeless people. California, Massachusetts has already made decisions on that. They're not going to challenge home. They're not going to charge out there. They're not going to charge homeless people no rent. And besides, the New York State is moving away from that policy. Okay? So where is the money? Where is the money? I'm looking at DSS. 10 years is a long time. And I'm quite sure if you look at the rolls, they've had over 100,000 people on DSS in 10 years. Have a good night. Like, subscribe, and share, and comment. I challenge you. I challenge you, drones, to comment. And if you don't comment, then you know what? You're one of the soulless ones. Have a good night, a good afternoon. I salute the Muslim community. I salute the Jewish community, and I salute the Christians out there. But I want you to know something. If you're following somebody and you're going any religious leader in Christianity, he's a fraud because he's not telling you the real deal. You'll get it right here. Have him make a comment on this, and I'll debate him. I'll debate him. I'm in Nassau County. I'll debate him at Eisenhower Park at the amphitheater. Have a good day.